yeah, when we started working, it was like Thursday or the Friday or something. And then literally, I think it was the first day yourself and Max got to work. It was literally then I think it was like an 17, 18 night booking.
Absolutely, I remember. You know what? I completely forgot about that. 24 hours, you got your first, like the 17 nights booking.
Yeah. From the end of June, it's been full all the way until, well, it's booked until the 6th of November. So yeah, full, other than I think one night in August, but all of that has been fully booked.
So apart from one night, you have been fully booked throughout the year.
So Matt, when he came and worked with me, not only he had empty calendar, literally had no strategy to fill his calendar with only one property. And you know what, trust me guys, it's very scary. When you're first starting your journey, you've just got a property and the reality is it hits you with empty calendar. Now, welcome to this video. Today's video is all about Matt, his client journey. Now, I've interviewed Matt nearly after 6 months of working together, and this will give you an indication of how GrowYourBnB helps client not only at that time to grow your business, but also 5 months later, he's gonna show you some incredible journey, some of his calendar from empty, being absolutely completely empty to today, he's been completely full for 2021. So guys, if you're new to the channel, my name is Piers and welcome to another GrowYourBnB video.
Guys, welcome back to another client interview. I have a very special guest here, Matt. Welcome to this client interview, mate.
Hello.
How are you? You all right?
Yeah, all good, thanks. Yourself?
Good, yeah, really good. Well, firstly, Matt, thank you so much for taking time out to doing this interview, for obviously loads of people watching. Now, just a backstory, I know we worked in May/June, and at the moment we are October, so we're now a few months down the line, right?
Yeah.
So it's a very interesting story for people because they would want to know what you've been up to, but also the work that we've done. And look, today's all about chatting. So firstly, people want to know who you are, and how long have you been in the service accommodation industry or short-term rental business for?
Yeah, my name's Matt. I'm based in Northamptonshire. So yeah, basically I got my first service accommodation apartment in April this year.
Yeah.
Took me a little bit of time getting it all live and online. But yeah, it was online in May time, and then yeah, I think basically I'd kind of worked quite hard to be able to get it, but then once I'd got the apartment, then you realise, shit, now I've got to try and get it filled. So it was I was quite early on then realising I probably didn't have a strategy or a formula to try and get it filled and get it filled consistently, and that's obviously then where
we
reached out to you, and then you worked your magic.
and the rest is history. Now look, I think some of the win, I always say, let's start with some of the win you've had. So, you know, it's been an incredible journey. Like, we're now in October, you've had your property full since, you know, like June. We can handful count amount of guests you've actually served, which is the biggest challenge in our industry. When people start service accommodation, generally they're like, that amount of clients they serve in a month, Matt, normally, right? We know this, but you have served that amount of clients in X amount of 6 months. You've been abroad and still be able to run your business much more smoother, right? And also, I think what I really want to do today is let's go back, Matt, and I think people watching here firstly wants to know what made you reach out to me, because look, at the end of the day, there's enough people starting this business, as you know, right? You see on Facebook properties popping up all the time, people going, I've just picked up my keys. They'd be like, I'm about to launch this property. But what made you reach out to me straight?
I think when I first got the keys and got it online, I think you click add the listing or whatever, and then you wait, and then you wait, and then you kind of think, is the listing good? Could the picture be better? Could I say something different? Am I going for the right target market? All of those questions sort of go through your head, and you start to then realise, actually, I don't really know what I'm doing with this part of things. So then I'd sort of seen other things online, been given personal recommendations by others, and that was then when I sort of reached out to you. We had a Zoom chat, and then I don't know, I think it was probably one of those things, all of those difficulties that I was having, you kind of gave me a potential solution for them, and that was then when we
started
got to work straight away, really.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Now, obviously, you went through my brand builder process with Grow Your BnB, right? Now, one question I ask all my clients is, now you've gone through brand builder, what does this mean to you, Matt? So you didn't know what brand builder was before, obviously, before working with me. What does this mean to you and your business now?
Yeah, so now I think the big thing for me is there's a strategy now, there's a formula, and basically I think that's just the thing it's given me, is I kind of feel like it's got this like a marketing engine behind me now. So I now know that hopefully when I take on more properties in the hopefully not too distant future, that part, I feel confident now that there's a process, there's a strategy to be able to get good bookings, good long-term bookings.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. So effectively, where you started the business with no brand builder, today now you've gone, actually the more property you launch, you've already gone, okay, you've got plan A, which is the long-term booking. Plan B is not worrying about it at all, because you know the plan A always works, because you've already seen that with the existing unit. So look, let's go back to when you first started, because you mentioned earlier that you obviously listed your property and it was like a waiting game, right? It was like, okay, but also that what was it like? So before you worked with me, you had a couple of bookings, like maybe one.
Yeah.
Right? And you had a full empty calendar.
Yeah, so what it was, I opened up the calendars, and I think I had one weekend booking like 6-7 weeks away.
Yeah.
And I was a bit worried because there was obviously no immediate bookings. And then, when we started working, it was like Thursday or the Friday or something. And then literally, I think it was the first day yourself and Max got to work. It was literally, then I think it was like an 17, 18 night booking.
Absolutely, I remember. You know what, I completely forgot about that. 24 hours, you got your first, like the 17 nights booking.
Yeah, and it was like 5 days later, so it gave me just perfect time just to make sure I had everything set for like my first guests, and yes.
I
really look back from there.
Now I remember that actually, yes, because after that first Max, the boost we did, stage 1 boosting, you straight away attracted that first booking.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Now, do you know, I completely forgot about that. Now, look, so what has been, now when we first worked, it was a lot of, I said you know, the week 1, week 2, week 3 was all falling down into processes. It also came down to the point that you were then starting to get more leads because your property, because week 2, we did a lot of direct booking strategies, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
And you started getting a lot of direct bookings as well at the back of that.
Yeah.
Now, how did it feel to you when you had no brand a week before, literally sitting down going with empty calendar, to all of a sudden you were getting all this booking? What made you feel? Yeah,
it was really good. It was a different dilemma then, because then I was getting requests of different platforms, and then you're having to, you can basically cherry pick which ones you want. You can potentially pass on other bookings to other people. Ones that maybe don't fit your potential criteria, you can pass on to others. So and so I passed one booking on to another lady who has a apartment in the same block that I've got one.
Yeah.
And then that kind of then builds up a relationship between somebody else as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So now let's put it this way, Matt. June, when we worked together, we're now in October. People would love to know what kind of bookings have you had since then?
Yes, I think from June, when we particularly started working together, I think from the end of June, it's been full all the way until, it's booked until the 6th of November. Full, other than I think one night in August, but all of that has been fully booked.
So apart from one night, you have been fully booked throughout the year.
Yeah.
That's not bad, is it?
Yeah, so it's been really good actually. I've been pretty pleased.
Absolutely, Matt. And I think, again, do you know what? One of the things I want to ask you is, and people watching this will want to know, they'll be in your place, or maybe they are going to be in your place at one point, is, look, why do you think people, or investors out there, people starting rental service accommodation, or homeowners who's why do they not take this part of the business seriously? Because look, everyone goes through mentorship, everyone goes through training, but nobody talks about this a lot. And why do they not take this seriously? Why do you think that is?
I'm not sure. I think from my perspective anyway, I thought, so I can only talk from a personal perspective, but maybe people think that the hardest part is getting the properties or funding the properties or whatever, but then actually think everything else sort of just falls into place afterwards. But I think, I think I learned quite quickly that it needs more structure to be so that you can confidently feel that you're going to get the return on it.
Yeah, and to the maximum potential as well, not just the return that you're like. Because look, you probably know one of the biggest things people do in our industry is they open calendar and then take the bookings as it comes.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas you've probably seen one of the things I did with you was the calendar management. We changed some of your minimum night stay, then we then strategize your listing to attract that minimum night stay, right? So one of the things again for you, Matt, I still remember was when we sat down and looked at your property, I said, Matt, it's a great looking property. Like it should be working for you, right? I said to you, it's going back into you've already got a great quality product, but sometimes you can have the great product, but you're not going to market it right. And that's when the challenges start. The other challenge you had was you had like that 2-night booking all the way 5 weeks down the line.
Yeah.
Which kind of made you worry a little bit, didn't it?
Yeah, well, I think it was one of those, obviously when I first got that request, I was buzzing because I was like, wicked, the first one, hopefully the floodgates will open, and then nothing happened. And then, but now, if I got a 2 or 3 night booking in the middle of a month, I would not even be considering it at all, because I know it would mess up the potential long-term bookings that are most likely going to come. So.
Love that. Now, do you know what? One of my clients said in Birmingham, his name was Light, and he said, Piers, I didn't realize that empty calendars are gold. And I was like, it's true, as long as you have a strategy in place to fill them. Because it can't be gold if you don't have no strategies, right? As you know. But
that was the thing. In August, I'd come off the back of, I think, 6 or 7 weeks, maybe 8 weeks, fully booked. And it got to about a week before, and there was just like an empty calendar for the rest of the year. And then, I don't know if you remember, but within like 2 nights, there was 2 long-term bookings, which basically has got me to November the 6th, all within the space of 2 days. So,
and that was literally back to back, just straight having empty calendars. Because imagine if you had like a 2-3 nights booking in between all this months, you'd have never got this bookings, would you then?
Yeah, enough, because in August, obviously it's staycation boom and everything. I think a lot of the properties were taken, and I had lots of requests for 2 nights, 3 nights, 4 nights bookings, and I rejected them all.
Wow.
And I was sort of just hoping that something long term would come in, and I think basically there was only mine and another one that was available for the whole month, and the lady needed it because she was in between house moves, and so I think she just had a choice of 2. So I think there was 2 open, and I guess you're probably peeled.
And again, going back into the guest, if you remember, Matt, the guest behaviors, I said to you what the long-term guests are looking for, how they're going to book you and stuff. But look, it's been a fantastic journey, mate. I am very much excited that I get to interview you now after 6 months down the line, where, we've done great work for you in that week or 2 weeks when we were working together. But actually, a lot of time people ask me, and Matt, I think you're probably going to answer this pretty well, is, when you invested with me, Matt, was it like you wanted a quick solution, or did you know that this was going to help you throughout the years and months coming?
Yeah, that was the intention initially, was to come up with a long-term strategy, a long-term plan. I can safely say, however many months down the line now, that's definitely what it's given me.
So actually, not only it's given what we did in that time working together, it's now actually doing it a lot. I know that, Brand Builder works a lot better now for you, because not only you have the knowledge behind it, but the system's already set. If you remember what I said to you, we do something once, and it pays you again and again.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's what's happening in your business right now. So look, to come towards the end of the interview, Matt, what I want to ask you is, how was it working with myself for that 4 weeks?
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was good. It was one of the good things, I think, was probably one of the best things was we spoke. I think it was maybe a Thursday. You onboarded me on the Friday, and then literally it was like Friday evening. Yourself and Max were like working on it straight away. So that was one of the really good things for me, was there was quite a lot of speed, quite a lot of urgency.
Yeah.
And then obviously that big booking came from it. And then one of the good things about working within those 4 weeks and beyond that time is, like, if there's any queries, I can message you, you get back to me like pretty much instantaneously.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah,
it's a long relationship, I'd call it, Matt, because at the end of the day, I know I have helped you at that 4 weeks. But you know, and most of my clients, by the way, whoever's worked with me, they reach out to me today, and I'll still be answering your questions purely because I know that my answers is going to give you a bit of solution or direction to what you want to achieve.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably very, very important for me. And secondly, I think, you know, our industry is all about celebration, because I think at the end of the day, we need to give people the real value. And one of the things I've seen in the industry versus what used to be years back is I think we've learned to celebrate a lot more. Before it was like, oh yeah, another unit, you know, picked up another. Now it's like, you know, many of my clients celebrate long-term booking all the time. I mean, today I said to you off camera, like how one of my clients made over £100,000 on direct bookings, straight came back, put it on a Facebook group and said, Piers, like, it's the direct results of what you've done. And I feel fully grateful, but I still feel shocked. I was like, how have I achieved like somebody that kind of return for their money, right? Now, Matt, two things here. Firstly, you've invested with me. You had to put money outlay. Have you made your return back in this 6 months?
Yeah, probably within about 6 weeks.
You did. Yeah, absolutely. It is true, isn't it? Because again, I want to be absolutely clear here that people watching would want to know. I always said to you, it might take a little bit longer time, but you will make your money back very quickly, which you have. Now it's just autopilot. It's working for you all the time, right?
Yeah. I think that was a good thing for me. Is yeah, it was worth it. Especially whilst I've had one property, it's been my first few months in the industry. I've been obviously making sure I get systems and processes set up. So now I feel confident now. So that initial outlay will then enable me to then grow.
Yeah.
I guess much better or much more sustainably.
Yeah, absolutely. And now you have a vision to what you're doing straight away. You know that you achieve a long-term booking, you attract a property, you're going to achieve a long-term booking. That's your mindset at the moment, right? Now, look, two things here, Matt. Firstly, also, thank you so much for sending Jason my way, which is obviously a fellow operators of your, you know, and you were the one who recommended me. And I obviously launched a property with him. We made him his big bookings of £8,000 in his first, like, 2 bookings, right? It was all going back into Matt with yourself. You trusted my process. I worked with you. We delivered, and you passed it over to somebody else. And he came and worked with us. We did the same, right? So people watching this video would love to know one thing, Matt, to end this interview. If they're thinking, or, you know, they're thinking about, okay, I'm not getting booking, or I'm looking to launch a property, why do you think they should work with GrowYourBnb, myself, and, you know, my team?
Yeah, I think, again, from personal experience, it's just getting a full-on strategy, a formula to be able to be confident that you're going to be able to achieve the best type of bookings that you want for your property and in your area. So I know it's very specific, so they're the kind of things that you go through. So yeah, it's just gives you like a really good blueprint of how to work from there.
Yeah, and do you know what, Matt? Also, I do say to my clients, you know, your property was obviously a 2-bed apartment, and slightly different to some of my clients who's got maybe a 1-bed studio, to somebody who's got, like Jason, who's got like a 3-bedroom house in London, right? These properties all will attract different types of guests.
Mm-hmm.
So my job here is not to tell you this is going to work. My job here is to say this property will attract you this type of clientele. As a result of that, this is how we're going to put your advertisement out. So look, it's been a cracking journey. I think, Matt, for me, you know, to hear what's happened in your business, 1 night gap between all of this, you know, it's an incredible place to be. And I think I'm truly humble, grateful that you've managed to obviously invest with myself and the business. And yeah, you know, good luck with everything. And obviously you're probably adding more units in the coming weeks now.
Hopefully that's the plan. So yeah, I'll keep
absolutely. And I'm sure we will again be working together and launching your properties again.
Yeah.
Perfect. Matt, thank you so much for doing this interview, mate. Thank you.
No worries. Take care.
Bye.
Well, this is what happens with a lot of new operators. You either launch property without any strategy, or you so focus on busy setting up your units, you just don't have time to actually look after your marketing and branding. So guys, I would love, if you're looking to invest in short-term rental or service accommodation business, it's okay to book a call with myself. You know, I go through a lot of calls. There are some people I'll work with, some people we don't. Eventually, we are in a position where we only will work with clients who we know we can give an extreme value to, right? So I'd love you to, you know, book a call with myself. The link is down below. And look, please make sure you congratulate Matt. And there's so many other client interviews. You know, people who have been in industry for, you know, over 5-10 years have worked with me, and they are all going through one journey, which is growing their brand. Well, thank you so much for watching another Grow Your BnB video. Make sure you subscribe, like and share this video, and yeah, please make sure you turn on the notification because there are some incredible videos that we're about to launch in the next few videos.